my name is Michelle Nguyen and I am the director of Paris Lash Academy. Welcome to our YouTube channel. If you are new, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back. And this channel is where I share all my tips, my tricks on how to do eyelash extensions, how to launch an eyelash business, or how to launch a successful salon per se, everything lashing. I was originally like a self-taught lash artist, which translates to I suck really bad at first. I sucked for so many years. And I've taken a lot of classes over the years, and it really improve on how I do lashes, and I've launched 2 salons now and a lash line. But throughout my whole entire lash journey, because I didn't have any guidance, so I kind of stumbled like my whole way, like just really badly. So I'm hoping by sharing, these experience with you guys, these tips, tricks, things that I've been through, my failures, it would inspire you through your lash journey. And today, my co-host is Caitlin. She's actually our Paris Lash Academy marketing manager. And if you are a member of our lash group on Facebook, Lash Queens, she's also an admin on there. So I'll let her do her introductions.
Yes, thank you. I'm so excited to be in a video with you. So I met Michelle back in 2017. I needed to get my lashes done for my wedding, and she said,
Did I do your first set for
No,
the wedding?
Lana did.
Oh, I
Lana,
gotcha.
her sister did my lashes for the first time, but I got them done and they didn't work out too well. But my second set was from you because I had gotten lashes done and they had all fallen off within a day. So this was 2 days before my wedding, and Lana saved the day. Yeah. So and I've been doing marketing for the salon for about 2 years now and helping with Paris Lash Academy. And I'm here today to share some of my marketing tips. So it's gonna be fun.
Today's episode is what you need to know when you start your own lash business as like a brand new lash artist. I kind of started out didn't know what the heck. I was sort of like, well, I'm gonna start doing eyelashes one day, and that was a disaster because everything that I did it wrong, and I did not know anything about regulations. I mean, I barely know how to like put lashes on. So this episode today will be full of what not to do and what you absolutely have to do to make sure that your butt is covered when you do eyelashes,
For every episode we post on YouTube, we select 3 winners to win 3 Paris Lash Academy gift cards. The first one is for $300 and the second are for each $100, and this week's winners are below. So congratulations, and just be sure to subscribe to win maybe in next week's video.
I want to kind of jump in and talk about everything that you need to do when you become a lash artist. So you kind of know how, when you new, right? You kind of know how to put eyelashes on, and then you have this grand idea in your head that you're going to be a lash artist and you're going to make like crap tons of money, because that's a lot of people do. And people ask me all the time like, hey, because I teach eyelash extensions, and people ask me all the time, go, hey Michelle, like, can I really make a living, doing this? And I said, absolutely you can. I know so many lash artists that make 6 figures. I mean, like, it's no joke. Yeah. It is a career, but also to make 6 figures, you have to really seriously invest in it. And when I talk about investing, it's not just money you invest, of course, because you have to invest in like good products. You have to have like a good area you're lashing from. You have to know what the heck you're doing by taking classes and stuff like that. But it doesn't necessarily take a tons of money. It, however, takes a tons of practice, to like make a real career out of it. You don't want to do this as like an amateur. I'm sure you can do it as a side hustle, but from my experiences, if you're really good at it, most people quit their regular day job and then become a full-time lash artist.
For the most part, it's people in the beauty industry that switch to lashing, correct? Like if you do hair to lashes, nails to lashes?
Yeah,
or...
so I see people like if they have a cosmetology license, which allow them to kind of do everything in the beauty spectrums, then a lot of people, they stop doing nails, stop doing hair, stop doing skincare or waxing, and do eyelash full-time. I also see a lot of people that work in medical, like a lot of nurses lash part-time, and then a lot of nurses, they go to school and get their lashing license, and then, you know, they kind of do it part-time. I mean, I see people from all walk of life, but most people, once they start to learn how lashing work and be really good at it and see not just the amount of money that they could make, but lashing is like an art. So once you really know how to do it and you like see the difference, transformation that you make people feel, it is really addictive. Seriously, like look at my eyeballs. So I have to share with you guys, this is like everyone laughs at me at our company. So I own 2 salons and I teach, you know, a tons of people how to do lashes, and I own a lash line. And of course, my ass would be allergic to eyelash extensions. So I'm allergic to cyanoacrylate, which I cannot have eyelash on like my eyes, extensions on my eyes. And normally my sister would be here and put on my fake lashes, but she's not here today. So I'm like bald, naked, eye like a boy. But yeah, it sucked. I mean, and I see a huge difference when I have extensions on and when I don't have extensions on. So, you know, just imagine how your clients feel. It's so addicting. So I often tell people, I said, be prepared. Don't think the first time that you're going to get a first set of eyelash on is going to be for your wedding, you know, or for, you know, my birthday or something like that. It'll never be the same again. So you're going to go back and you're going to keep putting it back on. It makes such a huge difference on your face. And then it kind of translates into like you're a new different person. You're more confident and, you know, you look more put together. When you feel good, good things happen kind of thing.
Yeah.
When you start doing eyelash extensions, you kind of like, okay, you know, now I want to make this as a living, right? You try lashing a few people, you've taken like a quick courses, and you're like, okay, I like this. I like the feel of this. I'm going to start making a living, you know, doing this. What do you need to do? Do you just buy a lash bed and then a bunch of lash supply and you just flop a person on and you just kind of like, okay, here we go, you know? Most people started that way. I started that way. I started lashing in the middle of my kitchen of my rental apartment at that time because you know, my husband was in school full time. I was kind of like in school and I needed to make some money kind of thing. So a cousin of mine showed me really quick 30 minutes on like how to do eyelash extensions like 10 years ago. And I'm like, I got this. This is easy, you know? I mean, I was Asian. I used chopstick, like tweezers. I got this. And it was such a disaster. Everything that you think that could have gone wrong. I glue people's eyeballs together. I cut people's lashes before. I get my friend/client chemical burn because she opened her eyes in the middle. I used cheap sky glue. Like anything that could have gone wrong have gone wrong. I have put glue on my client's hair because I put the lash tile too close. Is embarrassed to say everything that was just a disaster. But then I kind of learned from it. I wish there was a course at that time, like probably taught me how to lash them. So then, you know, half of those mistakes could have been easily avoided. That's why we kind of here to share with you. But I want to share with you specifically today how to actually structure a lash business. Because I always tell my student, it's not if you're going to ever get sued. It's going to be when you're going to get sued. Something's going to go wrong down the line. It's not always going to be your fault either, but you have to be covered because why? We got family, we got kids, we got houses, we got cars, we got our names to protect. And, you know, if you don't structure your last business correctly, everything that you could work hard for could go down the drain. And I'll talk about that later. But so at first you have to talk about licensing, okay?
Right, so is it you have to have a license to lash, or is it a certification, or what's required? to get started lashing strangers.
Right. So I'm talking about like now Paris Lash Academy, we kind of sell all over the world. So as far as I know, in Canada, there's no regulations. So you can just start lashing people. Of course, recommendedly that you take a class so you know what the heck you're doing and not just, you know, but in UK, I'm not too familiar with UK, I have to admit, so don't quote me on that. But I know in the US, in all of our state, there's only actually a couple of states that don't require you to have either an esthetician or a cosmetologist. There's only a couple of them. And how do you know if what your state requirement is? Call your state board. So call your cosmetology board and ask them, I want to do eyelash extensions. Do what requirement I have to have, because every state is a little bit different. So, but as far as I know, most of the state, like 95% of the state, require you to have an esthetician or a cosmetology license, right, to teach. Sorry, not to teach, to lash. And then on top of that, are you required to have a certification to lash? The answer is no. You don't need to have a certification to lash. You only have to have what your cosmetology board require of you, which is an esthetician's or a cosmetologist license, if they ask you to have some. If in your state they don't require you to have some, then you're good. You're fine. A certification is, a lot of people get really confused between the two. They're like, well, but I go to such and such company and then I've taken a lash course and then I got this certificate with my name's on it. Yay, now I'm gonna go lash. And I'm like, well,
no.
That kind of depends. I mean, if your state don't cover you, you know, they require you to have to be an esthetician or a cosmetologist, you have to, in order for you to, you know, to lash. That certification means nothing. Like, it means absolutely nothing. When state board come in and talk to you, of course, it means something to you and your client because you invested your time and money, right?
And more education and more classes, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have the knowledge. Great, awesome, good for you. That doesn't mean legally you can lash though. So you need to make sure you do that. So like at Paris Lash Academy, when I teach, I always check and make sure that the person, like if I teach in the state of Nevada, when people register for our classes, I always say,
because I remember when you were still teaching heavily before it grew into what it is, Paris Lash Academy, you would always say, Caitlin, no one can sign up without their esthetician license. Right. And so I would put that in every Instagram caption. You have to have your license. Right. Yeah.
So like when they signed up for a class here, I make sure that they send over like a copy of the esthetician's or a cosmetology license. Because what happened is, even if you spend the money and then I teach you, and of course you know how to do eyelashes by then, by law, you cannot go in or walk into the salon and say, hey, I have my certifications. Can I now rent a room to do eyelashes? They would be like, nuh-uh. Then you would feel really chipped, right? Because you said, well, I wish that company told me that this is not enough. Like, I need to have a whole entire esthetician license or cosmetology license on top of this.
Which that requires schooling to get that correct.
Yeah, it's, you know, but cosmetology board is just like so behind. So they cannot just keep up with like every brand out there, and then they have teachers or educators flown in from Europe who are not even licensed themselves because it's not required of them where they're teaching. So it's a mess. Ultimately, it is our own responsibility, to check with our own state board to see what require of us to practice where you want to be. You can go on and blame certain company, this and that, but ultimately that is your responsibility because nobody's going to cover your ass when they come down. So make sure you check with your state. First is licensing. And then second is educations. Of course, you want to take like a good lash class to start. However, not everyone could afford a class. So like I was self-taught, which suck. I mean, I don't recommend you to self-teaching yourself unless that's like, you know, kind of like the card we dealt with. You don't have any money to start. You don't have any mentor that can help you. Then sure, you know, self-taught yourself. Watch a tons of video. Join like a million lash group. Ask a million questions. I always say like, there's no question that's too stupid to not be asked. The stupid thing is to assume this is what I'm gonna do and not actually asking people that have experience to do it. So like at our lash group, sometimes people are like, oh my god, that question was asked like 10,000 times. I said, it's okay. You can either use the search bar, look, and then read everything about, or ask again, because, you know, we are happy to help. A lot of other members are happy to, like, answer these questions, because this is the road that we walked, right? It sucked when we walked when there were, like, only a few of us, and there was not too many knowledge spreading around. Now, it's so easy to kind of self-taught eyelash extensions, because...
It's so much more common than when you started, too, because I think, like, 10 years ago,
yeah,
it wasn't...
And then now everyone is very open to like sharing, because they'll be like, oh, I'll help you, this, that, versus 10 years ago when I learned eyelash extension, it was almost like drawn the curtain and, you know, we're going to do it secretly over here, like black out all our glue labels so then, you know, we don't know what to use. I hated that mentality way back when. It was very hard to grow because you kind of have to grow alone, and then it just, it just sucked. Okay, so make sure that you try to, if you can, save up some money, take some good classes. Always try to learn new things on Lash Group, and there's a tons of free informations now, even like on YouTube channel. There's a lot of great podcast video, and then of course always come and ask us if you have any questions. Yeah,
or our blog.
Or our blog. Yes. Caitlin is working on a blog for Paris Lash Academy with all the tips and tricks from our videos and, you know, from our classes. She's actually learning lashes as well through all of this.
I won't be doing them, but I know as much as, well, I'm learning from you. So.
Right, there you go. Okay, so the third thing I want to talk to you about is insurance. Why is this important? You have to, and I repeat, you have to have insurance. This is as important as when you drive a car, you have to have insurance, because this is not if I'm gonna get sued, it's the matter of when you're gonna get sued. Sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes if it's just a trouble client who, you know, have their resources of suing someone, because you know, so take this for an example. I know this one lash artist out in Arizona. She is licensed. She had her proper, you know, license, certifications, everything, but she was lashing from home, so she didn't have a business license. She kind of like, well, I'm just gonna turn my guest room into like a lash room, and she was like part-time, like full-time mommy, part-time lash artist. So she had no business license, no state license, no city license at all whatsoever. Therefore, she had no insurance. And all of the things that I just listed, you have to have them, right? It's just like when you drive a car, you buy a car, you have to register your car, you have to buy insurance.
Or even like, I know my hairstylist has a business license with the city and the state, yes, even though she's renting a booth because she is her business. Yeah.
So, you know, make sure you get like a business license from the state, one from the city. I think most state require you to have like a state and a city license, and then you go get business insurance. Everything that I listed are cheap. They're not expensive. So a state license vary from the state, but right around like $100 to $200. A city license right around like $100.
I think like in our city, it's only $60 if you're making under like 100,000 a year. Yeah. And when you first start out.
So it's not like a tons of money. And then insurance, I can include a couple insurance link on the description of this video. Those are the company I've used before when I was an independent contractor. Why do you need to have that insurance? For one simple reason. If your client got, knock on wood, you know, but if your clients come back and say, Michelle, you gave me pink eyes, and you're like, dude, I did not give you pink eyes. I sanitized my shit. Like, what you did at home, I have no idea. And, you know, I did not. But then the argument could be made that because she's been to my business and I touch her eyeballs, I could have given her pink eyes. Did I? No. But, well, you know, but the argument could be made that I did. So if she brought that up and then she wanted to sue me, does she have ground? Yes, she does, because she's been to my business and I touch her. So, I mean, we live in such a happy suing country that you have to cover yourself. So once you buy insurance, it's really easy to pass that over to your insurance company and say, hey, I have this trouble client that she say this, and then now this insurance company will have a representative, most often an attorney, to represent you, and then you are done. You wash your hand, you don't have to worry about it. It's so easy and it's cheap. Actually, I think there was a couple company offer it for independent lash artists for like $120 a year, which is really, it's like a drop on a bucket.
Yeah.
One client sue you every 5 years, that money would be gone. So make sure that you insure yourself. So come back to the lash artist I knew in Arizona. She was full-time mommy, part-time lash artist. She lashed from home, no license, no insurance, and then she had a client that sued her because the client had an infection from her eyes. So she went and see her doctor. Very conveniently, that client was an attorney. So it cost her nothing to sue this lash artist, and she did. She sued a lash artist and she lost. So she ended up having to pay almost $30,000 worth of damages. Hospital bills, you know, just anxiety, like all of the things that they said that was the damage. Exactly. And it was such a long battle, you know, and it was just draining. And then this lash artist quit after that, and was unfortunately, because she was a very talented lash artist, but she just wasn't structuring her business well that covered herself. And then she had no company to kind of cover her, because you could form an LLC of just you, so then they can't go after you, and all of that is very simple. If you want to, I can kind of help you, you know, guide through what you have to apply for when you go out and open a business, so then that way your asset is covered, your house is covered, they can't take your car key, they can't take your children or your husband. I mean, they can take my husband, that's okay. But you know what I mean.
But you want to protect yourself.
Exactly.
And that starts with the license to lash. That starts with business and city, state, and then insurance.
Right. And often I see lash artists do business without them, and I say, why? It costs only less than $500 for you to do all of that. Often they're like, I don't know how. Or often the questions is just like, I think I'm going to be okay. And I said, well, you're going to be okay until the day that you are not going to be okay. And then that's too late. Exactly. Okay. So get yourself covered, get good insurance, get licensing. Is easy, is fairly cheap, and it is tax deductible. So why don't you do it?
Because it's a business expense.
Exactly. So you write all of that off in taxes at the end of the year. You don't have to pay for it anyway. So go ahead and do it. Don't be lazy, do it. Okay. The next part I want to talk about is, so now you know how to do lashes, you are insured, you are covered, you are good to go. And since you are new, do you go do booth rental, or you do commission? Or you go work for someone else and do commissions? And I would be a good person to talk about it, because I have 2 salons that we have altogether about 17 lash technicians. So, not to be biased, but this is how I feel. I feel like when you are a new lash artist, it's really good to work for someone. Why? Because you have someone to kind of hold your hands and walk. Well, of course, you have to choose a good company. Don't choose someone who would suck the blood out of you and, you know, pay you nothing, and then you just slavery, like, straight up. You don't want to do that. You want to pick a good company that would invest in your educations, like they would teach you, they would fix your mistake if something happened, you know, so you have kind of like a mentor that you work for, sort of thing. So then at least that way you improve in your skill. You still earn a steady paycheck, not huge, but at least it will cover you. You know, think about this time as being an apprentice, pay apprentice. Then after you work for them for like a year or 2 years, and you got like a tons of clients under your belt, you know what the heck you're doing, you have a good relationship with your clients, and then you're going to be like, okay, I'm ready to move on my own. Most companies will be fine, and if they are not fine with it, well, too bad. You know, you
put in your time.
Exactly. Yeah. You've done your time. You've done the commitment that you told them that you would. Nobody would work for anyone for forever. So all the owners should get that mentality, so then they don't get butthurt when employees leave. I don't understand why like people just get mad when the employees leave, because I'm like, I mean, husband and wife leave each other, you know? So you can't just ask an employee to work for you for forever. That's just not.
And some of the other perks of like working for like at your salon, which is commission, is, I mean, the scheduling's kind of done for them.
Right.
Like the front desk girls handle their schedule. You guys, I feel like, do a really good job when new clients come in. It gets dispersed among the team.
Right.
So you're always, and then people, I think the front desk does a really good job of moving the schedule. So like if there is a cancellation, they'll call the rest of your clients to get like the blocks filled. And so a lot of that tedious kind of time management that you have to deal with as a lash artist gets taken care of by the salon itself.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, you know, when you are a brand new lash artist, you just cannot be...
You can't wear all the hats.
Yes, you just cannot do the scheduling, the advertising, the worrying about clients, worrying about products and everything. It is just so much and so overwhelmed. So as an educator, I can say majority of people, if they can kind of survive through the first 6 months of doing eyelash extensions, they'll make it. Most people quit within the first 6 months because it is really overwhelming. It is hard. It's a trade. You have to know how to, you know, work with your clients, different eye size, different eyes type, different lashes, you know. So skills-wise, it is a whole, you know, things you have to cover. On top of that, you're gonna have to worry about get your own clientele. You're gonna have to worry about advertising. You're gonna have to worry about like just a crap tons of other stuff. So I think as a brand new lash artist, if you have an opportunity to work for a good company, and I emphasize good company, do not work for a company that would just slave drive you. Like that's just that's not cool. And then make sure that you get a good commissions. And what is a good commissions? I feel like 50-50 is pretty good to start if you know nothing. Like if you are brand spanking new, just walk out, know nothing, own 0 clients. I think 50-50 is probably a good place to start. And then as you work, make sure that your commission goes up, you know, appropriately with how many clients you have and the experience you have and stuff like that. Don't work in a place that you have nowhere to grow or like no room at all to negotiate that commissions. And then after you're ready, then go out and do booth rental. Can you start out and do booth rental right away? Sure, you can. Make sure though that you have a good chunk of money put away, just because when you first start out, it is painfully slow. It is so slow. And then make sure that you have a good support system. So like hand your cards out to all your friends, and then don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You have to put your face out there. So I like have a bunch of business card. If I go out to eat, I'll put my, when I pay, I would put my business card in there with for the waitress, and I would write like a 10% off or like a $20 off for like a set, and I would give it to her. So then that way, you know, at least I'll earn another clients from there. So and when you do your clients too, you have to make sure that you treat every single one of them like your paycheck, because they are, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that every person that you do, they are your walking billboard. They are your guaranteed walking billboard. So if the work is shit, like, yeah, no. Sometimes I ask people who they go to just so I can avoid going to that lash artist because it looks so bad. That you don't want to do that. When you're a brand new lash artist, you just can't afford to have a bad day, right? Because if you have a bad day and then you put on a bad set of work, that set of work will walk around town, then here is your name. And then if she, you know, gets mad, nowadays with social media, everything goes so fast. Right? Like if
you'll get canceled real quick.
Right. Well, if, you know, Jessica gets a really bad set of lashes and she'll go on her Facebook and she'll be like, oh, Michelle did my lashes and look at this look like crap. Well, here goes,
help you.
Exactly, here goes like 20 friends of Jessica will cancel her appointments and stuff. So keep in mind, social media is like or internet nowadays is like a two-bladed knife. It could really help your business or it could destroy you so fast. Therefore, you got to be really careful when you put out work. For a seasoned lash artist, yeah, they can kind of afford to have a bad lash day. And we all do. We all have bad lash day. But we'll say if you've been doing lashes for 6 years and you have 100, 200 clients and you fully book out for 6 months and you have one bad lash day, no big deal. Someone doesn't like you, tons of your other clients will back you up, and then you can be able to like fix this. It's not too bad of a damage. But imagine if you have 5 clients and then you see all 5 of them with 3 of them on that bad lash day and all of them get bad lashes, and your glue are not sticking or whatsoever, whatever reason. Now you go home, you got 3 pissed off clients, which is 75% of your clients. Here goes your career, kind of thing. So make sure when you're a brand new lash artist, every set of lashes you put on, it gotta be the best work you have ever done ever. You gotta focus on that client and give her 110% of yourself, and then it will grow from there. It will definitely grow from there. When I first started, I'm a total walkover. So I had a client that she drove from Burlington to here. So I think that's like, I don't know, 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she works really early. So she works at like 8. So she would need a 5 a.m. appointment in order for her to get out and then get back to work, and actually was able to clock in. I can't remember, she worked at like 8 or 9, but her eyelash appointment was at 5 a.m. So my ass would wake up at 4 a.m. and then get myself halfway ready and then get to my studio and then do her lashes at 5 and pop her out at 6:30 for a fill. And at that time, I only charged $55 for a fill. And that's what I was doing. Winter or summer, that's what I would do. It would be snowing and I would be driving there doing her fill for $55. My husband think there was something that's wrong with me. But that's how I kind of build my clienteles. I never say no to anyone when I was new. Which probably not always good. Some clients I feel like I should say no. If I talk to them and they seems crazy, then don't take them, obviously. But I took everyone because I needed the money. My husband was in school, I was completely broke. But that's how I kind of like grow my clienteles. When I get busier, then I get to choose them. I get to say no to the crazy one, and then I get to say no to the one that's always no show and stuff like that. But when you are new, you don't have that luxury. You kind of need people to practice on, and then you need to build them one by one. Later on, you can kind of weave out, the one that you don't really care for. But saying that doesn't mean that you should take clients that are just like abusive, and when I say abusive is I've had some clients that are just, I had some clients that was just absolutely like on their crazy scale from 1 to 10, they were like 101, kind of thing. And I kept them for a long time because I needed the money, and some of them almost made me quit my job because they were just so mean. And they just think because they spend money, they can just abuse you, however. So then don't take that kind of clients because it's actually really bad for your mental health. But that's like a whole nother episode. For the next one is once you decided if you're going to do booth rent or you're going to do commissions, if you do booth rent, make sure that you have a good support system around you. Make sure that you have some money set up because it's going to be a really rough first 6 months. If you have 5 clients a week, that's totally normal, because you new. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows if they should trust their eyeballs to, you and sharp tools and closed eyes. That's a scary thought. So make sure that you have some money put away. Pick up a part-time job if you have to, and then just keep grinding, and then you will get there. But how to boost your clienteles, then I'm gonna have Kaylin help you talk about how to make a footprint on social media, how to introduce yourself to the whole entire town, kind of, all the women like, hey, I'm here, I do extensions. Because if you think that you have a certifications and then you got like a cute chick, studio, and people's gonna bang on your door and say, can I please get in to get extension? That doesn't happen. Like that maybe happen in your dream, but in real life, it doesn't happen. Hard. Real life, nobody know what the heck, just, nobody know who you are to come and get extensions done, let alone, talk about a waiting list. So how you get your name out there is very important. How do people know that there's such a service you provide or, entrust you with their eyelash extensions. So I'll have Caitlin, the expert, talk to you about how to make a footprint on your social media and introducing yourself.
Yeah, so social media is a great place to start. When you first start, I always say, like, grab your handles. That's the most important when you decide what your business name is going to be. So if you're Lashes by Michelle, which is probably taken at this point, you're going to want to find like an original name to call yourself, whatever your business might be. And even if you decide to go the commission route, it can be what you want your name to be one day. Like some of our girls at the salon are Lashes by Meg or Lashes by Annie.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine, but you just want to stay consistent across Instagram, across Facebook, across Yelp, and Google My Business. Those are the 4 big ones that you should have as a lash artist to get people to find you.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in really quick when she said that. That was a really great point. So even if you work for a company, sometimes you're like, oh, you know, if I work for a company, I don't have to post any pictures or I don't have to do any of that. They got it for me. Well, what if in a year you decided to do it? You have now lost a whole year of getting your face out there, right? So it's important to kind of go dream big, like things really big and things, well, you know, if one day I come out with my own lash line, what name is it gonna be? That's the name that you want to put for your handle, because now you have 5 years to work up to that point, yes, with that kind of in mind. So you want to pick a name that's unique enough and then stick by that name, and though you work under the umbrella of whatever company that is, you have your own pictures, you have your own names, people know you by your handle. It makes you coming out so much easier.
Yeah, and on top of that, if you end up going the commission route, like I tell all the girls at the salon, tag me, and send me your photos, because I run the salon's account, so I post Annie's lashes and Jessica's lashes and Meg's lashes and Brenda's lashes, and then I tag their accounts from the salon. So you can be tagging your salon, the salon can be tagging you on Instagram, so your name is getting out there besides just on your own account. So that's super important, and it's total, like, your salon is going to want to support you anyway.
Right.
But yeah, so definitely start with those 4. You might not need a Yelp if you do go the route of going through a salon, but if one of your clients is amazing and they're going to give you a review, tell them to use your name. Because when I see, like as a user, when I'm on Yelp, I'm looking for specific names in a business. If I'm going to go get my nails done at this salon, I want to know who did that set. Same with lashes. People are going to want to know who did your set. So make sure all your clients, because word of mouth is so important, especially with getting clientele. So some of the ways, like, I recommend people get their name out there is 100% word by mouth. If you have your clients tagging you in photos, whether in stories or on their feed, on Facebook, any way someone can tag you on the internet is going to help you. But word of mouth with friends. So you mentioned, like, when you wrote, come see me for 10% off on the back of your card, give those cards to your clients to pass out to their friends.
Right.
Start a referral program with your clients. I'll give you $5 off if you refer someone to me. But go ahead.
So when I did the referral program, this is what I did, and I was like poor and desperate. I literally would just like, please send me your friend. Well, I didn't say that. But what I did was I did a referral card. So I give each of my clients like 5 or 10 cards with my name and her name on it. And when she passed it out, if they bring it back, the client get like $10 off for their set. But if 3 of their friends or 3 people that they refer comes and get 3 new full set, which I charge like $175 a full set of classic at that point, I would give that person a free fill. So
awesome.
yeah. So, you know, they were passing my card out like crazy because they literally like, I need a free fill by the time I come back. And I didn't mind doing a free fill for like an hour, 15 minutes, because at that point with tip, I made like $600 off of the other 3 full set. Then I have those clients coming back. So that free fill was like nothing to me. So I was like, whatever, I'll just do an extra fill. But I literally ran that program for like 2 years. I spent $0 on marketing, not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know shit about Instagram. I mean, I didn't even know Instagram exists until I met Kaylin. So I told Caitlin, when you write a book like Social Media for Dummy, just bring me into it, because this is me. Would take a pictures, send it to Caitlin, and tell Caitlin, this is what I want to post. Can you please post and put whatever hashtag you want? I didn't even know what a hashtag is.
Oh, that's something we should talk about too. Hashtags.
Yeah.
I think people get really wrapped up in the idea that they need a lot of likes and they need a lot of followers, which is not true. You need people who are going to convert. You need girls following you that are going to come get their lashes done by you. So one of the things I always say when it comes to hashtags, and we do this for our salon. So our salons are based in Reno, Nevada. So we use hashtag Reno salons, hashtag Reno eyelash extensions, hashtag Reno lash extensions.
Right.
Oh,
you don't want someone, you want to, but you don't need someone in UK to lash your account, because they're not going to fly here and get their lashes done. So it's the matter of turning your local community into your clients. Following. Yeah.
That and Geotag is a huge one on Instagram and Facebook. You can tag your location when you're posting. So you want to say, either tag your salon, which will show up in your city if people scroll for the location, or tag your city, just so you start popping up in the area, because that's so important. You want local people to find you, not broad. And then if you're really looking for clients, one of the things I do sometimes for the salon is I follow like local accounts. So one of our salons is in Midtown, so I follow all the other Midtown businesses because they support us. One of the local accounts in Reno tagged our salon. They posted one of our photos, and they have 15,000 followers, but we took a really pretty photo inside the salon, and they reposted it and said, need lashes, go to Paris.
Right.
Because we had good photography, and I mean, our building's also really adorable and hot pink. So
yeah. And I think, stay in contact with like your local community, your other businesses. Small businesses love supporting other small business, but you can't expect them to support you without you actually even look at them and go like give them a shout out once in a while. Like if you buy lunch at like a local restaurant, tag them in your pictures like lunch at Paris, and then tag their business and stuff. When they see things like that, they would do a return a favor for you kind of thing. You can't just expect other people to like go shout out because you are flipping amazing, and then don't give them anything in exchange, kind of. Yeah.
Another thing I've seen a lot of girls do, specifically in our Facebook group, is they say, I did this free set, I did this free set, I did this free set. And I understand in the beginning you're going to want to get some free sets so you can either get photos, get practice, but the more free you're doing, the less it's going to benefit you. Like at what point are you going to value your own work? So it's okay if you do a couple free sets. Just be careful about giving a lot away because this is worth your time. It's worth your money. You're paying for the product. So, I mean, I'm all about getting the word out, but try discounts, or one of the things we've also done is ambassador programs. So we have a couple girls in town that have come and got their lashes. They did actually get them done for free, but in exchange, their following was massive in our town. So they were directing traffic back to us, and we gave them referral codes. So back to that refer thing. So we know if someone got their lashes done because our ambassador tagged us, it goes back to her. Right. So, because you don't want to be, again, giving away lashes for free if it's not going to provide you anything in return.
However, so like coming from like owning a business point of view, I would tell you, I can't even tell you how many people contact us and say like, hey, I'm a what is that called, influencer, so I'm an influencer, like let me get lashes done in exchange for free, and then I would do this and I would do that for you. And I could see a brand new lash artist, when they see that, they get like, they feel very flattered, and they're like, oh yay, she's an influencer and she picks me, right? So then you would be like, yes, I give you free lashes, I give you free anything, like anything you like to kind of get my name out there. You have to be very careful when you do that. Anyone that, like my brother's an influencer and he's 13 years old with like 15 followings, kind of thing. Anyone could call themselves an influencer kind of thing. So you have to make sure that before you give her that kind of investment, you look into her profile, see how many followers she has, see how active she is.
But also, it's not just follower count. Anyone can buy followers right now. So you want screenshots of her demographics to prove that the people following her live in your city and might come to you.
Right.
And you
don't live in Pakistan, per se. You
or
know?
Russia, yeah, no, 100%.
no.
And you also want, and I tell, if you're going to work with influencers, the number one thing is a contract, even if it's a written piece of paper on cute little stationery that says, you will post 1 photo and 2 stories and tag me, and she signs it, because just because she says she's going to do it, if you
doesn't mean she is going to.
No, and that happens all the time, and it's devastating.
So and then it ruins the relationship you have with her as a client, right? Because now if she's mad at you, that whole entire thing goes south. And then also you want to make sure that often if they are an influencer, they don't just represent your brand. They have to represent like a bunch of other brands, like company, like clothing, or anything that she represents. See how active she is with those company, and then you can expect the same with your company. If she represents 5 other companies and she give them like 1 shout out a year, well, honey, that is not gonna work. Like, you know, my housekeeper give me more shout out than that. Like that's just not gonna, So make sure you look into it. Just because, you know, she's a Miss, and now there's so many beauty pageant too. We got approached by like so many Miss, you know, locals, this city, local, that city, Miss, you know, exactly. Like there are so many pageant queen, princess, whatever, you know, coming out now, and just because they have a title also doesn't mean that they're active on social media. So take my lesson for an example. We used to sponsor this one gal, and she's adorable, and she's really cute, and she's really sweet, and she went into this pageant contest, and you know, all things is nice and great, and then we do all this investment, you know, like free lashes, free nails, free whatever, you know, coming back and whatnot. And then she never sent us a single client. She never gave us like 1 shout out. She never, it was nothing. Like our name was like this tiny little small print on her flyer among like 1,000 other things. And that was just a waste of money. And as a company, we can kind of like, oh, we'll write it off for taxes. But if you invest that kind of time as an independent lash artist, that's like 5 other clients you lost. So make sure that you do research on who you're going to use as your influencer. We have had influencers for our salon, and they have done us wonderful. However, you have to be very wise when you pick them. Not every rock coming out will be an influencer, and everyone wants to be one because you get free perks, you know? So yeah, be wise when you choose one. Make sure that you post a tons of pictures and videos on Facebook and Instagram. I think
photography and starting that, because I do feel like a great way to get clients is showing off your work. If you're going to invest in having a social media presence, you have to have the content to support it.
When you talk about photos, right, this is when I teach my student, I always tell my student, I said, you know, I teach you properly how to isolate. I teach you properly on how to apply extensions and stuff. Your first few set of work will suck. It will suck so bad. You know, it is normal. It would be weird, like, for you to, like, I had an assistant, my first assistant, Amanda. She now owns her own lash business, and she is doing amazing and wonderful. She is a freak of nature. She's the only person that I taught her, and after like 2 hours, she just pick up a pair of tweezers and start going to town, and I'm like, okay, you're weird. But, you know, for everyone else, that first set of lashes, or the second set, or the third set, or the 10th set will suck so bad. It's fine, it's normal, it's natural. Don't use those photos to advertise yourself, is what I'm saying. So what I often say is, if you have a mentor or whoever company you teach, you know, you take classes with and stuff like that, you make sure that you send your pictures to your mentor and say, hey, can I post this? You know, like, give me some feedback. Can I post this? Do you think this is good enough to like post up and get clients and stuff like that? And she will tell you, if she's like your teacher, she will be very honest, and she will tell you like, nope, that's just not post that, you know, and this and that. Understanding you are still learning, and it's not gonna be perfect. So often a lot of companies, when they teaches you, so like Paris Lash Academy, I have a bunch of stock photos from students that we take, and then I would allow them to use those pictures for advertising. So the pictures kind of belongs to Paris Lash Academy student, whatnot. Not saying that you cheated and used someone else's photo, as long as you don't put your photo, like your watermark on there and say that's your photo, that's not cool. But if you use the pictures and just kind of, you know, post it up to get some clienteles in, that's fine. Because really, I'm not sending, it's not that your work sucks so bad that you can't do the same set. It's just saying that your angles are not great to take a pictures. Like, I do great lashes, I suck at taking pictures, so I always tell my sister to come in and take pictures for me.
She takes great photos. Anna's great, but I think one of the things she does too is she takes from every angle. So she'll go above and she'll do it from your top view, and then she goes aside, side. She moves her phone around, and then she'll take videos and photos. So she has a bunch of content. And when you get there and you get that finally, or whatever, that amazing set that you did, that's the set you're going to want to take a lot of photos of. But just make sure, I always say, really good lighting. And the number 2 thing, wipe your camera lens, because your camera lens gets so dirty and that will ruin a photo.
And the thing too is, if you look at a company, right, or if you look at our company, or if you look at like any other company that have like great marketing, you will see the pictures and you're like, oh my gosh, they look amazing. And then you look at your pictures and you're like, they look like shit. Well, you know, for them to produce that one beautiful pictures, they took 500, dude. We just did our photos. We just did like a whole entire photo shoot, and we did 3 models, and our photographer took pictures for 3.5 hours. And in that 3.5 hours, he took, I don't know, 6,000 pictures. We got back, what, 45?
Yeah,
I think 45 pictures that were good, that were that we could use. Exactly.
For us.
So that's
and
what
good enough for Michelle. She's picky.
but you get what I mean. So like, when you take pictures and they suck, that's normal when you are new. However, you need to talk to someone, you know, that understand angles and stuff, and go, hey, can I post this to use this to advertise for my client? Don't just post a set that you like, I'm so proud, but they're not the best just because of the angle you're taking, or just because simply you're new, you're learning, you know. So there is some room for you out there to kind of talk to your mentor or talk to the company that you study from and say, hey, can you help me with some stock photo to start? Because this is kind of like the chicken and the egg kind of thing. You gotta have good pictures to get clients in, but you cannot get good pictures or get good work until you really practice. So practice a ton on your friends and family, and then when you start working on client, if you don't have very good stock photos yet, talk to the company that trained you, or your mentor, or your friends, or your Lash Artist group. Like, can I borrow some pictures from like really good classic set, and then I can use it as inspiration, and then I can also advertise to even get models, you know, in, because just because you say free lashes doesn't mean everyone jump at the chance. They still want to see what it's gonna look like before they come in. So make sure you don't just kind of go and post it, because I definitely have seen work advertising for, you know, to get new clients, and I would be like, well, I probably wouldn't have posted that photo, or if that would have been my student, I would have reached out and say, hey, you know, the work was great, but, you know, I would have posted pictures from this angle instead, or why don't you use this photo from what I have? And then, you know, it's not that she can't do that work, it's just her pictures is not good enough yet. So make sure that
practicing, like, that's a big thing. Just every client you should be taking photos of, especially in the beginning, because once you figure out how to take the photo, you'll be really good.
And then, you know, tell them for the set that you set out to, I said take pictures of every client. You're gonna have to take pictures of them, but for every month or so, set out like a day that you're gonna do one model clients. So pick a girl that you could give like a discounted set to and say, I'm gonna take a gazillion pictures, so just be here with me and let me do like my absolutely best work. That's what I do. So like, I usually do like a model, she still paid for it, or, you know, kind of depend on how long I want her to be here. If I want her to be here the whole entire day, I give it to her for free, and then she'll lay here for like 4 hours for me to do the set.
Because our models, I mean, they lay on the table for a while.
They stayed for a long time because they had to look flawless on pictures. So just tell them, like, be prepared to take 1,000,000 photos. Close your eyes, open your eyes, close your eyes, open your eyes. Like, a million times for you to get 5 good pictures. So if you see other get good pictures, that you know there is so much blood, sweat, and tear going behind it, and it's not just simple as like open my eyes and pop. You know, like it doesn't happen that way. Yeah. So.
Oh, I was gonna talk about your community, and not just by like your lash community that you're learning from, but your friends and your family, and almost when it's time for you to come out to say I am lashing now. I think people get a little nervous to do that, but I think that's the big step you need to take. So if you want to do lashes and you're ready to go, you need to make that announcement on your personal Instagram, on your Facebook, tell your whole friends, your whole family, say I am launching this business. Will anyone come see me? And if they're friends and family, give them a small discount. Why not? But everyone, I mean, what's that? What do people sell? The MLM products? Like everyone knows 40 people that might know someone who can support you. And I always think that's so funny when people talk about it, but it's so true. Like if your mom has a friend who wants lashes, she'll come to you because she knows your mom.
Right.
So,
well, and then, I mean, if you don't put it out there, who the heck's gonna know that you're there? Like, nobody would know you are there to come bang on your door. At first, you have to do all the footwork. You know, you have to grow thick skin. You have to put yourself out there. And then be very wise when you choose your clientele. So, like, take me for an example. When I first built my clients, my 2 kind of like honeypot was nail technicians and hairstylists and nurses. That's where I got majority of my clientele. So like nail technicians and hair, you know, stylists, they're obviously surrounded by women who care about their appearances and stuff. So I literally, like, I drove around Reno and I gave my card to like all their hairstylists and like nail technicians, and I told them like, come see me, I'll give you your set for like half off, because I obviously was still learning and I still suck really bad. But you know, I give them all my card and I'll be like, I'll do it for half off, you know, blah blah blah. And I've gained tons of clients from that,
because every single one of their clients
came to see me. Yeah, because when like the nail technicians sit and they filing people's nails like this, everyone sees it. Like, look at Caitlin, like everyone would see the eyelashes and they'll be like, oh my god, where did you get them? And then they'll whip out your card because they want to earn that free fill, right? The free referrals. So they'll whip out your card or they'll give like, you know, your number out. So then that's how you grow your clients. Just don't expect, I mean, even if you are the best, absolutely greatest lash artist ever, nobody knows you. Don't expect them to bang on your door.
But once you start getting enough clients and people are coming in, how do you know where to start your prices? Because I do feel like I see girls on a very wide spectrum of charging, and I know it's like we charge different prices based on classic versus hybrid versus volume, mega volume, wispy, but when you're starting out, how should you charge?
So when you mostly start out, I mean, you obviously gonna do classic, and you're gonna most of new lash tech would do hybrid. Mega volume is really just like very extra, and it's really hard. It is a skill that requires you to like work a really long time to kind of like get there. So the first year that you do lashes, I recommend you to do like classic, hybrid a lot, and then sometimes do like volumes. Don't try mega volumes yet unless you're like pretty advanced, because mega volumes, when you do it wrong, you really could do a lot of damage to your client's lashes, right? So when you talk about pricing, there's one thing as a brand new lash artist you don't want to do is you don't want to undercharge, right? So I would go on like Reno marketplace and I would see like eyelash extension $25. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you buy to put on people's eyes for $25 a set? Like, are you working for water at this point? Not even tacos, you know? So in order for you to buy good products and can save up and take more classes, you have to make a profit. I mean, I love to say I do this for fun because I love doing extensions so much. I also, however, have to eat, kind of, you know? So you have to make a living. I would recommend you to kind of, when you first start out, don't charge $175. So like how we charge is we charge $175 for a classic set, $200 for a full set. That's kind of average for Reno, Nevada. Not super high, not super low. So I would recommend you to kind of look around your town when you are new, find an average, you know, priced, and then set that as your price. but then give your people a discount because you're working on your speed or because, you know, you're growing your clientele. You don't have to say you new, but you can say, oh, I just opened my schedule and I'm looking to fill in my book.
And we still do that. We run promotions all the time. Summer promotions, spring promotions, we'll offer 20% off.
So like when we have like a new lash artist, we would run like a promotion to like fill her book. So what you simply could say without giving too much information in there. Of course, you don't want to be like, I am new. I just got my certification yesterday. So do you want to come and be my guinea pig? You don't want to do that, you know? So you want to say, oh, I'm opening my book so I have more availability and I'm looking to fill in those days I just opened. So I'm offering a 20% discount for any new client. Of course, every client will be a new client at that point. But they don't need to know that, you know, it's okay. So you just tell them like, hey, I'm gonna, you know, open my book and come see me and get 20% off for amazing lashes. And then they will come and see you. Once your book is filled up, you can go back to your price. However, if you set your price if your goal price is $175, right? And then you don't say anything about it, you just be like, come see me for $100 eyelash extensions. All is great and dandy, but first people don't get the idea that, oh, I'm getting it for like a discount, because we as women love to get a deal, right? We'd be like 20% off, yes, rather than even if it's $100, if you don't give them a percent off, they don't feel like they get a deal. Just women's mentality is funny. But you know, if you tell them like, hey, it's 20% off, they're like, yes, I better jump on it before she fills her book. And then once your book is filled, you can go up and you can be like, oh no, now my book is full. So, you know, no more discounted price. Is my regular price $175 or $200, whatever that is. But if you set your price as $100, it's really hard to go up and say, well, now I'm awesome and wonderful. I'm going to charge $175 instead. It's a really hard pill for them to swallow, because she will send her sister and her sister's like, well, but, you know, Killen got it for $100. Why now I have to pay $175? It's really hard. So just give them a discount instead. And then when you don't want to anymore, you can just go back and you can just use the excuse that my book is filled. You know, so now if you want to, it's that price. Don't set your price low. When your price is cheap, you attract very cheap clients who doesn't tip, who's always going to be your problems, and who always want you for nothing. Like one thing goes wrong, they want this and they want that and this and that. So when you have your price good, people would look at it and say, okay, well, you know, obviously she'll buy good lashes. Obviously she knows what she's doing. You know, I'm not putting on $30 cluster lashes and stuff like that. I don't know about you, but like when I see something so cheap, I was like,
why is it cheap? That's my first thought. Well, what's wrong with it?
Exactly, you know, and so when I see a lash artist go like, oh, $40 lash extensions, I'm like, what is it made of? Horsehair? You know? So, but that's kind of like women's mentality. So you don't want to be the cheap technicians. You don't want to be known as the cheap lash artist. There's nothing cheap going into artistry. It's just not. So make sure you charge your worth. You can give them a discount, but you never set your price too low. Okay. And then last but not least is obviously everything that we talked about, social media, pricing, how to kind of make it sound better, look better to attract more people in. It's all just a facade. Like at the end, you still have to deliver the work. At the end, you still have to stand behind your work and say, if something is wrong, I'm going to guarantee it. I see this a lot in Lash Group, as people are like, oh, you know, this client said this, like she lost this, but I don't really want to, you know, fix it because I don't think it's my fault and stuff like that. I, however, look at it very different. So I think, yeah, it could have been her fault that she slept on that side, or it could have been her fault that she went swimming right after or whatever. However, that is my client who's paying me. You know?
Also still your walking billboard.
Exactly. So if I don't fix it, and then I just kind of tell her like, well, because you did this, this is what happened, and I get sassy with her and stuff. Number one, I could lose a client. Number two, I could lose her whole entire family, and especially if it's an Asian person, you definitely would lose her whole entire family because she'll go home and tell everybody about it. You know, so you don't want that to happen over, or I would call it misunderstanding or miscommunication, that it would take you 15 minutes to fix. Like, who gives a shit, you know? It would cost you so much more. So I say to a point that don't let the client abuse you and want a free touch-up every time. But if, you know, it's a fluke thing, then, you know, then make sure.
I'm remembering my first lash experience. So when I got my lashes done 3 days before my wedding for the first time, I woke up the next day after getting them done, and my whole left eye, I had like 3 left, and then almost all my right ones were gone. And the first thing I did was call them, and I was like, hey, my lashes all fell out. And she was like, well, what'd you do? And I was like, I don't know. And I couldn't believe how rude she was to me. And she was like, well, I just don't have time to get you in before Friday. And I was like,
and it's her wedding.
And it was my wedding. And
you know?
She knew it was my wedding. But I also remember she was sassy when I got there because I had worn makeup to my appointment. I didn't know it was my first time. Right. And she just handed me a bottle of makeup remover and was like, here you go. And I was like, anyway, I was so uncomfortable. She didn't talk to me. But yeah, and then so the first thing I did was I called my only other friend that had lash extensions, and I said, where do I go? She said, you go see Michelle.
Yeah.
And so I never went back.
Yeah.
And I had bought a Groupon, a 2-for-1. I had a free fill with that lady.
And
I
never went back. Yeah. So my whole point is you gotta stand behind your work. You know, you could have the best marketing manager ever on this whole entire planet Earth, but if you don't treat your client with respect, you don't stand behind the work, you don't deliver the good work, all of that would be for nothing, because obviously the truth comes out as how good of a work that you do, how much you care for your clients, and if you actually would guarantee kind of the work. So like at Paris, when clients get a full set of extensions, then we guarantee them for like a week or like 10 days. If anything problem happen, like under 10 days, come back, we'll fix them. That's how we keep our clients, because our clients are not extension expert. They will grow into be, knowing all the things that they don't supposed to do. But if you're gonna punish them for everything that went wrong, could be their fault, could be your fault, but if you punish them by like, well, I'm not gonna fix that because it ain't my problem. Well, it is your problem. She's not coming back. So, so that's kind of like our job, they have to like us, we can't just, I'm a pretty sassy, I could be a pretty sassy person, my husband said that I have a smart mouth, but when it comes to business, you can't act that way. You have to treat them like your paycheck, because they are. So you need to take a step back and say, okay, what can I do about this situation? Put
on your customer service face.
Exactly. And then you're gonna be like, even though you sometimes want to punch them on the face, the way that they talk to you, you have to say, hey, let's look at this, come back in, let me look at this, see what we can do about this and that. And once they get a sense that you take care of them and you care for them and you really know what the heck you're doing, you can't push them out the door even if you try. Like, they won't leave you, they will follow you anywhere you go, but you have to take care of them. It falls on the you have to have the guts to back it up. You can't just do all of this foo-foo and then just at the end don't deliver. So, obviously you still have to be an amazing lash artist. That's all we got for today. I'm sorry, it's a really long one.
This was a long one, yes, but lots to cover.
Yes, but, hopefully you will find that helpful. Hopefully you will find that inspiring. Me and Caitlin will keep checking on the comments to see if you have any questions. Let us know however we can help you on your lash journey. Please comment. We're happy to help. And yes, subscribe, so then good luck. Hopefully you will be one of our 3 winners for the next episode.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.